Hi everyone, this is Yame Kim. Today I will show you about AWS and CSL 1000v about. Hi everyone, this is Yame Kim. From today and about for 4 times I will show you about the AWS and CSL 1000v, especially about the NAT or PAT, NAT, Network Address Transition, and about the HA, about redundancy. First time, I will show you about just very basic information about the AWS. And second time, I will show you about free tier Ubuntu deployment. And third time, I will demonstrate about single deployment of CSL 1KV. And fourth time, lastly, I will show you about the HA redundancy using HA3 of CSL 1KV itself. Okay, from now on, I will show you about very basic information about AWS and CSR1000v. Especially this is for the network engineers usually, not for the developers or the system engineers about the server or storages. Actually, I'm network engineer, and when I used AWS, I was a little bit surprised because everything has no name. There is only the ID. ID is working. Actually, last time when I used about the Cisco ICE Identity Service Engine, at that time also everything was made with IDs. Even MAC address is not used uniquely. The ID was used. Like that, AWS, everything is used with ID, no name. That's first thing we have to remember. Okay, this is about the AWS, very basic information. So here in the AWS, so AMI was a kind of image, like ISO or like OVA, and instance is a copy of an instance, the image. So each like a virtual machine. So when I say instance, it's kind of one machine actually. Okay. Also, first thing we have to remember is region and availability zones. It's very hard to speak for me, so usually I say AZ like that. Uh, Region is actually about the isolated from the other region. If you see this one, this is a list of region. One region is about the separate physically uh, very far from the other region. So you have to click the region near with you, and each region has multiple AZ. So for example, yes, East one has blah blah like that. So first thing, but we have to remember is about the subnet. Let me show you. Uh, subnet. Subnet is belong to AZ. So if you like make a subnet, it means a subnet is belong to a specific agent. If you see this one, it's more easy for you to understand. Okay. Here, when you use the AWS, you have to choose region first. It's the first job you have to decide. Then you will make a VPC. VPC is almost same with tenant or verb. So one tenant and one verb cannot make a communication with the other verb like that. So each VPC is each tenant or each verb, and each VPC has That's the agent, but subnet is belong to agent. So you can have multiple like agent and multiple subnet. But if you want to know more about that, please go to the AWS website and see the documentation. Okay. And the one more thing very confusing is about the network architecture itself. So AWS has internet gateway IGW. It's like a public internet like that, and like a firewall, we have to do NAT, NAT. So uh, when the AWS said it's public IP, it's not public IP. It's actually private IP addresses, but so I call it the fake public IP. But when the AWS, if it's called elastic IP, it's real public IP. So public IP is like a 10 dot or like a 172 or blah blah or 192 blah blah like that. Usually we say it's private, but here AWS the private subnet can have such a private IP addresses. Only elastic IP is real public address. Also at AWS they are called route. Actually, route is L3 switch or L3 router itself. So always the .1 is a gateway address of each subnet. Remember. And also when you like config about the AWS, there are two things about securities. One thing is security group. It's like a kind of ACL. So every network interface should have the security group. Also, the hidden thing is about source desk check. If you like run the instance just within your VPC, so also every packet is come and go within the VPC. It knows everything, so it doesn't check about that. But if you want to test with the internet, if the packet goes to unknown destination, so you have to make force source desk check. I will show you later next time about hands-on. So it's very simple. You have to make a public subnet, then you have to make the private subnet and the public subnet, and you have to do NAT here, and finally elastic IP will go out, and about 5 the elastic IP you can have it, but per VPC or per region or something. Let's say about CSR1000v, and Cisco has many the cloud product, and CSR1000v is one of the product, and it's actually simply it's the iOS XE. It's same with ASR1K and ASR4K, and its performance is from 10 megabps to the 10 G, and CSR1K use maximum just 8 virtual CPU. And everything same with the router. And cloud need router. I will show you. Actually, a company can have many VPCs, and if you have many VPCs, you have to make peering itself like a BGP, the iBGP, internal BGP. If you have many like VPCs, it's very complex. So like a BGP RR, they are called transit gateway. So transit gateway like routing the traffic between the VPCs. But think about that. If you want to connect the transit like a gateway from your company, you have to make a VPN connections because list line is very expensive. So to do that you need CSR1000v. But usually the cloud companies supply its own like a the VPN machines, but Cisco CSR1000v is more flexible, more functions, and more uh, bandwidth. So people use this one and blah blah blah. Like if you read it, you can know it. And here's like a comparison. Cisco CSR1000v has a very big performance, even up to 9 GB IPsec performances, but usually other things has like a 1.25 gig, under 2 gig. But here 5 or 9 gig and more scalabilities and more functions like that. But one thing you have to remember is very important thing is this one. Features in red will not work on the cloud because it's a leg of L2, I mean broadcast and multicast is not supported. Here, HSRP, VRIP doesn't work. And also box to box HA for firewall and NAT is not working. So it's very important. When you use CSR1000v, everything is same with the physical like router, ASR1K or the ASR4K, but you cannot use multicast and you cannot use broadcast. So if the functions which are based on the broadcast and multicast, you cannot use it. Okay, simple. And Cisco has new functions with the SD-WAN. If your company uses Cisco SD-WAN, is merged from Viptela, so you can extend the SD-WAN to the cloud. At the Transit VPC, if you install the SD-WAN from your company, this will be seen. This function is supported from 17.3 about new release. It may be released at 2020 November like that. So if you are using this one, please check out, please. Okay, let's skip it this one. And this is about CSR1000v on AWS market. Actually, if you wanna deploy the CSR1000v on AWS, you can choose from the market. There are two options. So buy from the market. Like if you choose this option, you can choose AX, application experiments, or security options. You have to pay about the CSR1000v fee plus instance fee. It's hourly like a charge it, and you can get a tech support from the AWS. But if you wanna buy from the license, buy a license from the Cisco or Cisco partner, you have to use BYOL. BYOL license is about 135 years, and you can buy IP base. IP base is up to 10 gigabps, while this one, security and application, is just 5 gig. So if you wanna use more bandwidth with the IP-based option, you have to buy the license from Cisco or a Cisco partner, not from the market. Okay. And you have to know about the limitation. Actually, CSR1000v has no limitation about the network interfaces, but instances, AWS instances has limitation about the interface itself. So if you want to have a more like interfaces, you have to choose a bigger instances. No. Bigger instance type. This is about the security packages. If you choose this one, C5 large, recommended one, you have to pay about $1.7, about $2 per hour. and C5 is about 2.5 megabps, pretty high. And this one, actually, as I told you, CSR1000v can use only maximum 8 vCPUs here. But if you choose a more big instance type, you can have more I/O, so input and output, so you can have more bandwidth actually. So if you want to have maximum performances, please go to more higher instances. See 5.9 XR is maybe the best option you can have, I think. So let's see the Cisco documentation. This is data from the Cisco Live, very big summit from Cisco. But I have no exact more details about test. But here, when it does simply routing, you can have about 13 gig with C5.9 that time. And if you use IPsec, you can have about 9 gig. This is official documentation from Cisco. You can here is documentation number LTR DCN 2100, but this has no details, so don't trust this documentation wholly and test with your hand and make a decision. It's pretty important because when vendor test a packet, they can test with maximum size like 1,515 byte. But actually, in the real world, usually packets are 3 like 100 the byte, or for the LTE or 5, it can be like a 700 like that. So as you know, IMAX. When we test with the packet, the IMAX size, it's about 2 or 300 like that. So don't trust this one. Also, this test was with enhanced network, SRIOV, but I'm not sure this can be work or AWS the instance or not. So trust yourself. Don't trust the vendor's information because the test result can be varied on case by case. Okay, so this is very simple about session introduction about AWS and CSR1000v for network engineers. And for next time, I will deploy for Ubuntu and CSR1000v on the AWS cloud. Thank you. This is Yame Kim. Bye bye.